Hey everybody, today we've got the morning consult slash Bloomberg poll for the 7 battleground states for the month of April. And the headline is Biden's gains against Trump vanish on deep economic pessimism. I try to take a look at this every month because it's a nice overview of the key battlegrounds, but I always caution people that it is just one poll, and maybe you don't believe morning consult at all. That's fine, but they do take an overview of the battleground, so it's something that's easy to take a look at month to month. So let's get into it. It says the president is trailing Donald Trump in 6 of 7 swing states as a majority of poll respondents see the economy worsening by the end of the year. So I think a lot of people are anticipating this poll coming out because over the past couple of weeks, the narrative I've seen in the media is that the race has tightened up a little bit. Biden has maybe gained 1 or 2 points while Trump has lost 1 or 2. That generally does seem to be more true than not, though there are exceptions, but that's the kind of thing I would expect after we've been taking a look at polling for about a year and a half. There's going to be some volatility. You go back to last year, Biden was ahead in a lot of the polls. Then it flipped and Trump was in the lead for several months. It seems like he is still in the lead, but it's much more closer to being tied. So let's go down further. We've got the economy that's dragging down voters, and here are the 7 battlegrounds. Across all 7, Trump is ahead by 6 points, 49 to 43, and that is a clear improvement over the previous poll. In Arizona, Trump is ahead by 7, 49 to 42. That's actually a bump there for Trump and a decline for Biden. I think this is the most notable state over the past month. The abortion issue has flared up there. It seems like it would only benefit Biden. This poll was not exactly taken before that Supreme Court ruling, so I was expecting to see Trump go down a little bit, but apparently he's got a 7-point lead. That is surprising. In Georgia, Trump is up 6, 49 to 43. Michigan, this is the state that Biden is doing his best. Now he actually leads there by 2, 47 to 45. Last month it was tied, so the trends there have been positive for Biden. In Nevada, Trump is up 8, 51 to 43. That is a huge bump for Trump since the last poll. It was nearly tied last time. Now Trump is clearing 50% of the vote somehow. In North Carolina, that is Trump's best state. He's up by double digits, 51 to 41. Then we've got Pennsylvania. Last month it was tied. This time it's similar, but Trump is up 1, 47 to 46. And finally, in Wisconsin, last month Biden had a narrow lead here, but this time it's flipped. Trump is up by 4, 48 to 44. So again, this is not what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be a little bit more narrow. I think Biden had a better month than Donald Trump. Trump's been bogged down in court. He's been unable to campaign the way he'd like. There's a lot of negative media attention around Trump, and we have seen other polls where Biden has done better. But in this poll, again, these do look favorable for Trump. So why is this happening? Well, they pin it on the economy. It says the reversion comes as poll respondents offered a bleak and near-term view of the economy, the issue that has consistently registered as their top concern at the ballot box. A majority of swing state voters see worsening economic conditions in the coming months, with fewer than 1 in 5 saying they expect inflation and borrowing costs to be lower by the end of the year. Despite a resilient job market, only 23% of respondents said the employment rate would improve over the same time period. So you might say it's the economy, stupid. When I take a look at polls, I usually see there's some nostalgia for the Trump economy pre-COVID. And if you're the party in power, you don't want to have the economic sentiment be against you. Here we've got undecided voters that expect the economy to improve are in the single digits. Here's a quote that says some of the shine of the State of the Union address has worn off. To me, that implies there was a bump in polling after the State of the Union. My recollection is the polling was basically flat. So then we've got a table here that says by the end of the year, do you see the following getting better, worse, or staying the same? Inflation rate is the worst at 55% that say it's going to get worse. Only 20% say it's going to stay the same. It doesn't show it here, but I assume there's another 25% that say it's going to get better. It looks like the stock market is the least pessimistic. That has 35% that say it's going to get worse. 26% stay the same. So we've got more than 3/4 that say the president is responsible for the current performance of the U.S. economy, and nearly half say he was very responsible. And then they throw in the margin of error on the poll, which is 1%, and it was conducted April 8th to the 15th. Then we've got another table that asks how responsible are the following for the current performance of the U.S. economy. The president is at the top, but there is a significant partisan gap. 67% of Republicans think he's very responsible compared to just 32% of Democrats. I'm not exactly sure what to make of that. What I usually see is most Democrats think the economy is not doing too terrible. They focus on the employment rate and some other metrics in their favor. So if they're responding to that, I would think they would say Biden is very responsible. If they're responding to the inflation, then I would think they would say he's not. Corporations get the highest vote from Democrats with 45%. And then we come down to abortion. This is the big motivating issue for Democrats, and it does favor them. Overturning Roe versus Wade seems to be the best thing that's happened to the Democratic Party in a long time. So do they wish that ruling never happened? Probably not, given some of the electoral success they've had that could be attributed to that ruling. So here's the silver lining for Democrats. It says for the first time in the tracking poll, more than half of swing state voters said abortion was very important to their vote. With Democrats, it's up to 69%. With independents, it's up to 49%. And with Republicans, it's at 36%. And then right below that, this says on April 9th, that was their second day of polling. That's when the Arizona Supreme Court ruling came down. So it does seem like they got most of the polling in after that ruling. But again, somehow Trump opened up an even bigger lead in that state. Maybe it changes next month. We'll have to see what the trends are. But it does say in that state, abortion is now the most important issue for 3 in 10 Democratic women, surpassing the economy. Independent voters in Arizona say they trust Biden over Trump on that issue by 12 points. With suburban women, it's a 25-point advantage. So that's going to be the big turnout game for Democrats. Get suburban women to focus just on abortion and pretty much nothing else. Each side has got to play to their strengths. This is definitely one for the Democrats. The downside is there's a lot of other issues out there, and most of those don't really favor the party in power. But it says Trump has tried to moderate his position on abortion. He knows that's not a strong issue for him. There's just certain issues that are always going to be a winning issue for each side. Abortion for the time being is going to be one for the Democrats. And the last section is on voter disillusionment. This is where they throw in the third-party candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It says the margin is similar when he's added in, consistently polling in high single digits. And of course, he did recently secure ballot access in Michigan. So they don't go way into Kennedy, but looking at the rest of the data, things more or less even out. In Michigan, Biden goes from a 2-point lead to a 3-point, but in Nevada, Trump goes from an 8-point lead to a massive 14. It's still too early to see what the effects of Kennedy and other third parties are going to be. They're trying to secure ballot access. We still have to wait at least another 1 or 2 months before we have a solid idea of the dynamics of this race. And also keep in mind, this poll was done just with registered, not with likely voters. Finally, it says both candidates have high negative ratings, and Biden's 6-point deficit across the swing states is even wider than that of Democratic congressional candidates. They trail Republicans by 2 points. So that means in the down ballot races, we've got some ticket splitting. It says voters who say they'll vote for Trump for president, but a Democrat for Congress are far more pessimistic about the economy than those who split their tickets the other way. That would be Biden for president and a Republican for Congress. So if you take that to its extreme, that could mean Trump would win for president, but there would be a Democratic Congress. At least this poll is saying that's more likely than it happening the other way around. So that's it. That's the morning consult poll. It's definitely better than I thought it would be for Trump considering the past 2 or 3 weeks. But I'm going to leave it there for now, so let me know in the comments, what do you think about this poll? Did you think it would be more narrow than it is? Do you buy the results or do you think it's way off? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.